Okay, and here is Titan. Not as big of a project as the previous one size-wise, but there's a lot of little snippety bits that I've used along the way. Of a lot of sample work again. But yeah, let's dip into this. All right, so here was the intro that I was explaining about. So, you know, all these different Foley sounds, and I was really happy with the outcome. There was a bit of a problem with the Jungle Thunder here. Originally, I hadn't EQ'd it, and I exported the track, and I was about to release that. Well, I did EQ it, but I didn't account for those low ends. So I was like, oh, why have I not dropped out the low end? So I did. I just dropped that out. All good. Yeah, so that all builds up. In comes Ellie Goulding. Really happy with her vocal chops. You almost wouldn't be able to tell it was her. There are some bits that sort of give it away. I think these parts especially. This sounds like it's her. You can sort of tell it's her. But I doubt anyone would be able to recognise. But that's kind of like one of the Easter eggs. There's a lot of things I like putting into my music. The great results from all these little Easter eggs I've had along the way from other sources, you know. Okay, so then it gets to the drop. At this point in the track, I mean, I feel like I was trying to push so that the right energy came across in this one part here. You know, this hook. But even now, I'm not too happy with it. I mean, if I could change it up, I would probably change the genre of the entire track completely to fit the bass house drop that comes in later around here. I wish I'd kept it as consistent as just one style for this track, because it's sort of all over the place. I mean, it goes from dubstep to like some breakbeat thing to like more dubstep, and then like a bass house, and then a dubstep outro. Do you know what I mean? It's cool because, you know, it's all right to not stick to one genre, but fluidity, I think it'd be nice if I kept a consistency to this track. So that would be definitely one thing I would have done differently if I could reproduce this. I might do a VIP at some point as a natural release as well. Here's an effect that I really liked. This is Ellie Goulding's voice again, but it's a trick I've done a few times in the past. With the reverb, I basically crank it up all the way to virtually 100%, and it creates this whispery effect, like she's in a distant land or something. Yeah, check this out. And then she fades in, and I've done this for a remix in the past, and I've just really like the effect. Sometimes I double it up with another vocal that's coming from a low pass, high cut EQ sweep. So I could have done that with this project, really. So yeah. I haven't spoken about the theme of the track yet. That's one thing I meant to talk about. The whole theme of the track is the reason why I named this track Titan is because of the moon that orbits Saturn, Titan. And I really liked the idea of creating like this theme of like you're on this alien world. That's why this intro sounds so like you're in a jungle or something, but I want to make it sound eerie and almost like you're in some like interdimensional kind of alien world or something, you know, something crazy like that. And then with that tribal percussion, it sort of carries that element of the jungle feel, you know. All the percussion down here. I'm super happy with my recordings of the percussion. The smaller the parts they have, but just really happy with the whole percussion section completely, you know. Moving on to the first drop that comes in. That part there, sticking to the original theme of bringing more explosiveness to the energetic section of the track. Everything else drops out and you just get this percussive little bit there, so it goes, and just having that bit sort of brings the theme back to this jungleness to it, and then boom, you get this alien drop. You know, it does throw the listener off, and I kind of like that. But anyhow, the mix down could have been better, that's for sure. There's just a lot going on, and the lead was quite hard to tame. This one, once I'd edited it, so like I say, all this processing that had gone on, you see. So that's from the original one before I'd even resampled it, and then I resampled it over to this one for further processing. This is all the post-processing, all automated at different times. Some of them are constant, but these are all the automated ones, like a Homicide, which I'm a big fan of. But by using all these effects, I was trying to obtain the right frequencies, and it was very hard to tame. But you know, it's because it's so transient, and because it's come from a sample, it's already been mixed. So I think maybe I over mixed that sound, but you know, you live and learn. I could have created my own sound for this section, but in a way I did create my own sound from that sample, so I'm happy with it, but it could have been mixed better from producer's perspective. Then we get over to this part. Second build, but this time we're teasing all these different bass sounds coming in. And then we get the same sound from the first drop. But this time I've really screwed with it. It's on a new layer. I've called it Wonky Lead. And yeah, what gives it that characteristic sort of shimmer effect, like a glass kind of. This is another resample from the second one. So I'm basically in one resamples into the next for the different parts. So this part, that part actually cuts out, but that's what it was originally. If I just move that up. So it's kind of like, almost like a creature sort of making sounds, like a bird or something, an alien bird. But that's the final version of the sound. So, you know, that all comes from one sound. You can start to get really interesting sounds. So it's a sort of sound design from a sample. And, you know, I think that's really successful, especially that second sound. Really dug that, especially with the sub bass going, comes in there on the snare. There again, it's just heavy motion, works so well. And then finally, my favourite part. That's where all the basses ignite in a sort of fury of house. There's a lot of samples there, whatnot, especially this one. This is the one that did most of the work. And then finally the dubstep drop, where all the energy is. And then to give a constant to the track consistency, finally, you have a similar setup to the intro, but it's sort of going the other way, it all fades back out again. And there you go, and it's like, in a way, kind of wanted to take the listener on this strange adventure through like the cosmos. And I think that was successful, but the mix down could have been so much better, and I wish I had spent more time on this one. But in a way, I think with the deadline I kind of rushed it a bit, not too much, but more than the other tracks. I think especially track 3, I spent a lot of time on that one, but this one was sort of like the haste one, you know, get out of the way. Although I did enjoy making it, and I'm glad I did make it.